What is going on, guys? We are back to the LS R32. This should be the final video. If we are lucky, we will have it started up for you very soon. So right now we're working in here, finishing up a couple little things, getting some hoses tightened. We had to do some modifications to get the LS engine to work with the right-hand drive and get the starter, the steering, the brakes, the clutch, the header, all of that packed into this side. And I'll show you how we did that, and then we'll get to work on getting this thing running. So what we had to do was take a 1/2 inch thick piece of aluminum, cut it for each side, and drill some holes in it, and that allowed us to space the subframe down by 1/2 inch. And then on this side, you can sort of see in there, let me see if I can zoom in for you. There you go. That piece of aluminum in there, that little spacer right there, that is a 1 inch thick piece of aluminum we cut out, drilled a hole in on the driver's side, and that actually got us to shift the motor over towards the passenger side by, I think, about 3/4 of an inch is the side-to-side offset, and that gave us the clearance we needed for the steering shaft to clear the starter. And then also, as I mentioned in my last video, when we were starting to deal with this problem, I relocated the steering rack forward by about 1 inch, and between both of those and everything else, we were able to get the starter and the steering and all that in. The only thing we still have to do is pull the steering shaft off of there, off of the column, and extend it by probably about 1 inch. And then that'll get us where we need to be. It was a massive pain in the ass. Motor mounts need bolted into the subframe. Bigger bolt we need to put over there. We need to calibrate the dipstick.
Calibrate the dipstick?
Which is apparently a real thing.
Slightly long the bolt. Goddamn. I don't love these hoses. I got too much something or other.
I'm like a bartender.
Fucking sauce it up, dude.
Ooh, getting some saucy lines up in there.
Don't want this. We're topped off.
Yeah, I thought they posted 9.
Buckets like a motherfucker. Boom!
Now up underneath, we can see the modified ISR trans mount that we made. So these pieces right here were CNC cut along with these, and these are fully slotted right there to allow full movement, like front to back, and then a little bit of movement left to right on that. And then you can see a better view of, you can see where this motor mount is sitting, and then you can see the spacer on this motor mount, which really shifted the motor over and up a little bit. But now I'm going to work on the exhaust with the cutout here. So basically, this will go, oop, wait, nope, not that way. That way. So let's get to it. We got the starter wires hooked up onto the starter, and we should be able to crank it once we get it down. All the motor mounts are tightened, all the front suspension's tightened and everything. And then Corey made this cool little bracket right there, which holds the heater hose lines, because they have to go from right there down, across, back, up, over.
Corey fab.
Grant fab. I didn't do shit.
Grant hasn't fabbed anything.
Yes,
Everybody
I
has
have.
a fab shop. Anyways.
And then we got the dump pipe Y thingy welded in place. I cut the exhaust down just a little bit, that much. Cut it down, and then welded this to the old exhaust. Put a V-band on the end of it with some neat looking welds. And then made this piece right there. So that's off the car just to get TIG welded now, and we got to pull this down so we can do some other stuff. And last thing, we got the steering shaft in place, and it works perfect. So we have working steering, which is fairly important on
You know
most
how much
cars.
of a bitch this starter was to hook up though?
No, I don't. How
I will
much?
say it's a nice starter, but it was a pain in the ass. It legitimately took me about
Well, they
half
have-
hour to put 2 bolts on.
Yeah. So the starter bolts are on the back side of the starter rather than usually they're like on this side on most starters. But since they wanted everything to be all nice and tucked, they put them on the inside and made it a pain in the ass. Dan is here.
DoorDash? No. Oh.
He's dashing my door.
I'll dash your door.
Look at Dante. Anyways,
What's up, guys?
we got the car back on the ground, buttoning a lot of more stuff up. If you were watching Corey's Twitch live stream, if you were watching Twitch, we mounted the ignition coil here because it was in the way of getting it mounted there, so we just hung it right on the brake master. Did a little bit more trimming on this cover. All that fits beautifully, but we noticed the spark plug wires were touching the header, which is not good. So had to throw some of these boots on. The boot on the spark plug required a little trimming on those areas right there, but that was super simple. Cut it with a razor blade, and then the boot slips right over it. Good to go. The steam pipe run to there. This little bung that I welded on. Intake is on, waiting for a 90 to come so we can put the air filter basically like that. And we're gonna cut a little hole and dump it down there a little bit, get a little bit of cold air. But it's coming along. Who's ready to hear it start? Now, I wasn't a huge fan of the zip ties we just had right here and here, so I decided I would 3D print this little guy right here. And check this out, it's so satisfying. Oh, let's do that again. Oh. Anyways, tight. 3D printing is cool. Now it needs cleaned up a little bit, but I cut this hole where there was the little factory hole that went there-ish, and I just extended it, kind of made it square with some round corners using a hole saw. And then I dropped the air filter down it with this little elbow. So that's in place, that's nice. Next thing up is we need to run power steering lines from there, forward, across to a cooler, boom, to the pump, then from the pump to the high pressure line, which is gonna go around the back, boom. And now it is the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's start it up and go for a drive.
Are we going for a drive?
I'm just pulling it on the lift.
Oh.
It's a drive. It's a road trip, dog. God. This car's set up for a small man. It's very difficult for me to drive.
I love that the wheel touch leg.
Mm-hmm. Now this is how I have to get out of this thing, because Asher's like 5'6" or something, and I'm not. Easy,
Quality.
because I'm a contortionist.
Are you gonna need my help?
Yeah. Oh, the racing seat and the steering wheel with my leg that's a tough one. Now we finally got the bigger bolts for the exhaust dump, so that's what Grant is installing right now. So we're gonna have the gasket, the dump tube, which will be just like that, and then the dump tube goes on there. Boom. And then some nuts. And we have a cutout.
Yeehaw.
It's pretty yeehaw, to be honest. I love it so much. It's so fucking sick. Now Corey did a super rad install on this button, which is, oh, it only works with key on, for the cutout. And we don't have a muffler on there right now, so I'm not gonna show you what it sounds because it basically sounds the exact same on both directions. But that's pretty dope. Next up, we got this unbranded shitty old muffler cut off, and now we're gonna weld on this new Vibrant muffler. Boom. Vibrant, super high quality. It does have the optional insert, so we're gonna see how loud it is right now, and then I might recommend that Asher buys the insert to make it quiet there until he opens up the cutout, and then it'll get loud with that. It gets real loud. I got this beautiful Vibrant tip welded on. I had to weld a little extension piece that you can see right there to make it get nice and lined up with the back of the bumper. It's all good on there. We're still gonna put the silencer tip inside of there because it's still a little bit loud, and we don't wanna be too loud when the cutout isn't open. Now you can see the goods. Now, I don't know about you, but I love that. That is amazing. Now, here in my fiberglass slash eBay slash everything else room, we have the shift knob that Asher bought. And I had to get the stud that fits the shift lever that he bought into the shift knob that he bought that says Corvette on it, because, you know, it's basically a Corvette now, right? So I basically just taped everything up and I epoxied it in there. The epoxy's all dry now, so let's unwrap it and see how it looks, how it works. And just like that, it is in there. Boom, let's see if we can get focused. Oh, little Corvette logo on the side right there. Boom. Let people know you got a Corvette here. I haven't tightened it all the way because we're still waiting on the boot there, and the epoxy isn't all the way dry. I can just kind of tell it's a little mushy. Once that dries, and once we get the boot, we'll be able to put it all back together and see how well it works. Only time will tell, and you know, depending on how hard he's shifting and stuff, it may come out eventually, but I guess we'll see what happens. Alright guys, and that is it for this video. On the next video, we will be getting it all finished up 100%, and we're gonna go drive it, maybe drift it, do some burnouts, of course. The next video is gonna be rad, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching.